at the beginning of the program, we initialize all the necessary parts for our booster pack function, such as the launchpad, the booster pack itself, the SysTick, which is the main counter that we use to update the LCD to display all the note blocks and frequency notes and stuff, and of course the LCD itself. Once we initialize everything, we first read the first note. We first get the first frequency of the note and initialize a bunch of variables to get the randomized color for the blocks, the durations, the height at which the block will be displayed in the LCD. Then we move on to the octave, the oscillate note function, which actually oscillates the current note between two different frequencies. One of which is 2 times the frequency of the initial note. So that's how it's going to switch back and forth. And as it does that, it'll call SysTick function. For level 0 of our design, our SysTick function just reads the input for the button press of S2, which is the pause button. And if it detects that S2 is being pressed down, it'll set a pause state variable, a global variable pause state, set it to true, and then it'll return. Once the sys function returns, the program will go back to the oscillate note function. It'll decrement the octave switch count, and the cycle will repeat until the octave switch count goes to zero. And once it goes to 0, it'll exit out of the oscillate note function, and then the program will check if the pause state has been set to true. Once it has been set to true, it will enter in an infinite while loop where it will continuously check for when S1 is pressed, meaning when S1 when the program should resume. So it will only resume when S1 is pressed. So once S1 is pressed, it will restart the entire loop, and the cycle of getting a new note, its frequencies, its initial heights, durations, and display information for the LCD, and it will run through that cycle all over again. For level 0, we first figure out how to play a singular note to the buzzer, which Kenny and Michael did. Then the next thing is to use that functionality and implement it into playing a sequence of notes to the buzzer, which Kenny and Michael also did as well. Then this would display the notes of the song to the LCD by drawing out a string to the LCD, and then we would implement the button pressing or pausing and resuming by pressing S2 and S1 respectively. For the SysTick function of our level 1 implementation, we have a new function inside of SysTick, which is update LCD. This update LCD will call every time the inner for loop inside SysTick loops, and it will update all of the note blocks on the LCD and make them so that they are moving across the screen. And once it does that for each and every block, it'll just return, and it'll resume the normal behavior described for the SysTick function in level 0. For the project bonus milestones and our progress, we divided the bonus milestones into 3 categories, which is to learn the basics of the LCD functions and learn what each function for the LCD can do and what are their limitations. And then next we added an algorithm to convert the sequences of notes from a song into the sequences of note blocks to display onto the screen, and have it so that the chosen song will be repeated forever, and therefore the sequence of blocks will be displayed in order forever. And then finally, we would add a little spice to the note blocks. So we'd add a list of colors, and we'd have those note blocks display a certain color based on the list of colors.